The moment, subtle but powerful, when you realize that your silence is louder than any argument. When you choose not to react, not because you're weak, not because you don't care, but because you finally learned the difference between attention and peace. And sometimes the loudest thing you can do is say nothing and walk away. Reaction is energy, it's a transaction. Every time you respond to disrespect, every time you try to defend yourself against someone who never truly valued you, every time you try to explain your side to someone committed to misunderstanding you, you give away a piece of yourself. And for what? To win a moment that's already lost. To prove something to someone who's not even listening, to show them you're right when they were never interested in being fair in the first place. When you stop reacting, you stop handing over your power. You stop participating in the cycle. You stop letting people drag you down into chaos just because they live there. And more importantly, you start living in a way that honors your growth. You stop needing to prove how evolved you are, because your peace becomes the proof. There's an old version of you that used to jump into every confrontation, who thought that silence meant defeat, who believed that if you didn't defend yourself, they'd get the last word. But growth teaches you otherwise. Maturity teaches you that some things don't even deserve a response, that not every fire is yours to put out, that silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. The people who thrive on your reaction do not deserve your attention. They are not looking for truth. They are looking for chaos. And the moment you engage, you enter their arena. You lose your balance trying to dance to a song that doesn't match your spirit. But when you remain centered, when you choose not to engage, when you refuse to explain, when you walk away without a word, you win without even stepping into the ring. You are not here to be reactive. You are here to be rooted. And rooted people don't chase storms, they stand tall in stillness. They know who they are. They don't shout to be seen. They don't scream to be heard. They simply live in a way that makes noise unnecessary. There is a deep power in the pause. That second before you respond, where you ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Most of the time the answer is no, because peace becomes more important than being right, because clarity becomes more valuable than closure, because self respect matters more than someone else's opinion. You don't owe people a reaction just because they expect one. You don't need to respond to every insult. You don't need to match their tone, their disrespect, their bitterness. You can rise above it. You can choose silence. You can choose grace. And that will frustrate them more than any response ever could. It's not your job to mirror their dysfunction. You are not required to become what hurt you just to show that it did. You are allowed to walk away and keep your spirit intact. You are allowed to let them misunderstand you and still sleep peacefully at night. You are allowed to hold your ground without lifting your voice. Reaction often comes from a place of woundedness. It's the part of us that still wants to be seen, to be validated, to be acknowledged. But the truth is, your healing is not dependent on their apology. Your peace is not rooted in their understanding. The moment you realize that you don't need their remorse to move forward, you are free. And freedom looks like not picking up every phone call that brings drama, not answering every text that reeks of manipulation, not explaining yourself to people who would rather see you broken than whole. Freedom looks like walking away without guilt, like choosing silence over chaos, like choosing your peace over their approval. You are not cold for not reacting. You are not heartless for not responding. You are just done. Done engaging in emotional warfare. Done pouring energy into black holes. Done mistaking attention for love, conflict for connection. You finally understood that peace doesn't come from controlling other people. It comes from protecting yourself. They may call you distant, cold, rude, but let them. That's just their discomfort speaking. That's their confusion trying to make sense of your boundaries. You are not responsible for their feelings. You are only responsible for your energy. And you finally learned that your energy is sacred. There's something magnetic about a person who refuses to be dragged into drama, who chooses peace even when provoked, who walks away without a word and lets silence speak for them. That's not weakness, that's mastery. So the next time someone tries to bait you into a reaction, pause. Ask yourself, is this worth disturbing my peace? Most of the time it won't be. And when it's not, give yourself permission to walk away. Not because you couldn't fight, but because you finally realized you don't have to. Don't react. Just walk away.